Get ready to break molds and blaze trails. Welcome to the Chelsey Holm podcast, your shortcuts to wellness, business, and growth with a twist. Let's flip the script and unlock your full potential together. Hey everyone, today's episode is going to be a little bit shorter, but I want to address the elephant in the room of balance. This idea of balance, I think I've talked about this in episodes past, but it's been a while, and I think this needs to be talked about because balance is such a myth. It sets us up for failure because it gives this idea that there's this perfect balance, right? If for you to be a present mom or friend or wife or spouse or whatever, present in your personal life in whatever capacity, and present and build a business, it needs to be equal on both, right? Because the whole point of a balance is a scale. Okay, so this idea though of balance, it sets us up for failure because balance is having equal parts on each side, right? And we know that that's not the case. And so I want to pose a different concept for you that I think is going to help free you and also help you to understand that nothing is fixed, okay? So I want to present to you the idea of blending. And actually, side note, one of my favorite movies is the movie Blended with Drew Barrymore. I have a little friend here in this episode, so if you're watching, this is Ruthie. She normally has super curly hair, but today she has straight hair because her sister straightened her hair. And she loves it. Right, anyway, I got to get back to my episode. You said you were going to call her. Okay. So this idea of blending. Blended, one of my favorite movies. So funny with Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler, and it's just hysterical. I've seen it so many times. But this concept of blending really, it gives you that freedom and flexibility to know that, you could be present where you are. And whether that's being a mom or that's working on your business. And in order for blending to work, it has to take intentionality. You have to prioritize whatever it is, right? So you're prioritizing your family, you're prioritizing your business. So it has to come with priority. It also has to come with intentional action. And intentionality comes with a plan, right? You actually map out those times, you guard those times, you honor the fact that, essentially you're making a promise to yourself in those areas and you're showing up. And so one thing I want to mention here is that if you are with your family and you're working on business all the time, or you're just thinking about your business when you're with your family, or vice versa, when you are working your business, maybe you're away for a conference, maybe it's just in your daily working your business, you're thinking about your family. And also, if some guilt comes along with that, there's some story work that needs to happen there. But that is not being present. And so one way that you can actually very simply fix this problem, this disconnect, is by establishing business hours. When are you going to work is just as important as establishing, and most people don't think about this, when you're not going to work. So I'm sitting here, Ruthie's here in the car with me, right? And we're together, and am I fully present with her right now? No, I'm fully present in this podcast. Am I physically present? Yes, but and it's this intentionality, but I said, hey, I'm recording this podcast. You can call her, she loves coloring. So we're together, but we're not. So this is not an example of blending in the sense that I'm telling you, it's about it being intentional, right? And so setting business hours can be really, really helpful. When are you not going to work? So I have very specific points of my day where I'm not working. So in the morning, before the kids go to school, I'm not working during that time. I'm not going to work until those kids get on the bus. And also, I've prioritized the actual pre-work things like moving my body and exercising, fueling my body, feeding it, getting dressed and ready for the day. That one doesn't always happen. That one is not as much a non-negotiable. That one is very much negotiable for me. And, spending time intentionally in mindset work, in prayer, in my reading my Bible, listening to my Bible reading, doing some journaling, right? Setting my intention for the day, writing down my goals and my targets and my activities, having a to-do list there so I stay on track for, how I'm working during my set business hours, right? And then, 3 p.m., I'm done working. There are exceptions where I'll have events in the evening or what have you. But that's not primary. So a great example of this was this past weekend. So it's either Saturday or Sundays. We have Bobcats. That's football and cheer. That's where we're at right now. We're at Bobcat Field. And everyone's practicing. Gabe's practicing football. Emma, Ruth practicing cheer. Ruthie's done now, obviously. Emma's done too, but she's hanging with her friend. But we had a game on Saturday. And, before the game, Gabe played his football game, there were some non-negotiables in there. So I am present during his football games. I want to watch the whole thing. I don't want to be on my phone. I don't want to be working in any capacity. And then during the girls, not as much when they're cheering during the game, but their halftime performances, I am not working during that time, right? Now, in the rest of the time, because my kids were all entertained with their friends or they were getting ready with their coaches and they were practicing, they were coming in and out of, we had a canopy, blankets, chairs, food, snacks, all the things, right? They were coming in and out the whole time. But I used that time to respond to my DMs, to reply to messages, to start conversations, to continue those conversations, to, create some media. I think I created I recorded some B-roll. I think I put a reel together to post that day, all of those things, right? And so I did those things. But once that game, was getting ready to start, and once those half times, nope, done. I'm putting my phone away, I put it away, and then I didn't touch it for the rest of the time, right? And so that's what I mean when I talk about blending. So it doesn't have to be I'm sitting in my office, but it has to be these are my work hours, these are my family hours, and we're going to hold those as non-negotiables, and we're going to blend them together because there are going to be times where you're creating and launching something in your business, and it's going to require much more time versus, if your kids get sick, that, that is important and urgent, right? You have to show up and be present. And so that's where blending comes in, because sometimes one area is weightier than another area. They're both still very important, and, family is always going to take priority over business, but they are very close, right? And so that's why I love this idea of blending. And I think that it really gives you that freedom and flexibility to be present where you are and with whom you're with, and what you're doing, so that you don't get stuck in that trap because this is what happened to me. I was stuck in that trap. So I was talking to my mentor in my network marketing business, and we actually mapped out, how much my time was worth based on how much money I made, how much time I was spending on my business. And in my mind, I had this, mental issue of I was always thinking about my business. I was struggling to get to sleep at night because I was thinking about all the things. I would wake up, I was thinking about the things, I was always thinking about it. So when I was with my kids, even if I wasn't on my phone or doing an event or, hosting a presentation or whatever, doing something for my business, I was still thinking about it. And so then therefore I wasn't present with my family. And so actually the value of my time was going way down because I was spending so much time and I wasn't giving myself that freedom to be present where I was. And now, in a few weeks, I'm going to Miami again for WealthCon and for the 10X Business Summit. And, I love my family, but when I go there, I am fully present there. I'm not stuck in that guilt of oh, my kids are missing me and whatever. No, they're in great hands. And I set them up for success because I've done things ahead of time, right? And planning for that. And so it allows me to have, again, that freedom and that flexibility to be present, not just physically or the energy that I'm giving to whoever it is that I'm with or whatever it is that I'm doing. But it also allows me that mind freedom to check out of whatever area I'm not present in and check into fully whatever area I'm in, right? Because I know that, because even for me, I build my business from my phone through, social media, online, digital marketing. And so it can get frustrating for my kids when all they see me with is my phone in my hand all the time, right? And my kids need to see me working hard, yes, but they also need to see me fully present and engaged with them, having conversations, because they notice those things and they pick up on those things. And do I do this perfectly? No, I do not. But I wanted to bring in this episode because I think that we can get stuck in the shame and the blame and just the inability to ever truly enjoy where we are with this idea of balance, because it's a myth and you should kick it to the curb, and we're done with that. And it is starting to get dark here. I guess it's almost 7 p.m. I got 5 minutes here. So as I said, this is going to be a very quick episode, really to just give you some freedom and set you free from these stupid myths that you can find this perfect balance. Like, no, you can't, but you can find a perfect blend, but also know that it's not ever going to be static, and it's always going to be changing and growing just as you do. And that's where it's really important to prioritize and to be intentional and to map your time when you're working, but when you're not working, and then honor those, right? If you only have 10 minutes to work your business, set a timer and you show up, right? And that's going to take some pre-planning. Like, you're going to have to know exactly what you're doing in that 10 minutes. You're going to have to know exactly the conversations you're having, the activities you're doing that are going to drive your business forward, versus if you have an hour, same thing. You got to plan ahead, right? You got to do the prep work. And, so there are a lot of different systems that I've put in my life where, like, one of the bottlenecks we were experiencing was dinner time, meal time. I wasn't planning ahead, so then at dinner it would be really frustrating for me and overwhelming, because that's an overwhelming time as it is, right? Moms, do you understand what I'm saying? But then it was adding this layer of stress on because I hadn't planned ahead, and then we were making choices that didn't align with our overall goals. Like, we were hitting fast food, we were, doing really fast, like, crap meals that didn't make us feel our best, and all of those things. And so I shifted and I started planning out our meals for the whole month. And then, part of every month I go through and I plan our meals for the next month. Every Sunday, I write all the meals out for the week that we're having. I make sure I have all those ingredients. I know I'm typically grocery shopping on Tuesdays, or Thursdays, whenever it is. Sometimes that changes every week depending on what we need and how badly we need it. And that's part of my plan. And then every day I'm waking up, or every night, it just depends on when it is. Like, I'm taking out meat so that it's thawed in time, for that week. It's already ready. Sundays and Saturdays, now that we have football and cheer, I was finding that, by the time we get home, I'd be so tired. I just didn't have the energy to cook. Whereas I used to, those were my big cook days where I would get in the kitchen and I would kind of play around and we would have these extravagant meals. Well, guess what? That's not the case anymore. And so we were finding again, we were going out to eat, or we were just eating frozen pizzas all the time. And so I've started to incorporate crock pot meals. So that's part of my plan, right? In the mornings of those games, I already know what I'm doing. I've already looked at my recipe. I've got all my ingredients. I'm ready to go. It's going in the crock pot before we leave for the game, and it's going to be ready after we get home and good to go, right? And then we have an amazing home-cooked meal right now. Okay, so Saturday, I tried a new recipe for pulled pork. Oh my gosh, you guys, this recipe is fantastic. I have been eating it every day. Hawaiian rolls, coleslaw on it. I don't even put barbecue sauce on it because it's super simple. It was just honey. I think I called for white wine vinegar, or red wine vinegar. I never had that. So I used apple cider vinegar, some cayenne, garlic, smoked paprika. That was a yummy one for me. And I just threw it on there and it did its thing and it was amazing. I've been eating it every day. It's so good. And now I have meals, right? Simple things like that. And so it's like that big step back. And I've talked about this before, that step back of looking at the whole picture, seeing where your bottlenecks are and getting really intentional about it, and knowing that it's not going to be a perfect balance. It's a blending. It's constantly changing and evolving as you grow and as things change and we go into different seasons and we have different, we have different demands on our time, and our schedules are changing. And so it is a freeing sense of blending. We're like flowing, like blending is flowing, and it gives you your power back. It also takes the pressure off. So if you found this encouraging, share it with a friend who is really busy and really overwhelmed and is feeling weighed down by this antiquated myth, Ruthie, this antiquated myth that there's a perfect balance, because there's not, but there is a perfect blend for you, and you get to figure out what that is, and it's going to change in every season. And you get to decide how it is that you prioritize your time, how you're intentional with your time and your energy, and how you have the freedom to show up and be present where you are. Take care, my friends.
Thanks for joining the Chelsey Holm podcast journey. If you've enjoyed challenging the norm and embracing growth with a twist, share the love. Don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, keep defying expectations and keep leaning into who God made you to be.